I call this meeting to order at 7:30 p.m. We will now go into Section 2, swearing in. There is none. We'll now go into Section 3, roll call. The clerk may read.
When I call your name, please say present. Senator Luna,
Present.
Senator Parker,
Present.
Senator Fan,
Present.
Senator Otten,
Present.
Senator Beam,
Present.
Senator Tiwana,
Present.
Senator Souls,
Present.
Senator Lay,
Present.
Senator Martinez,
Present.
Senator Hinojosa,
Present.
Senator Thibodeau,
Present.
Senator Mallard,
Present.
Senator Brown,
Present.
Senator Casiru Safar,
Present.
Senator Miller,
Present.
Senator McCarroll,
Present.
Senator Hansen,
Present.
Senator Timms,
Present.
Senator Beatty,
Present.
Senator Arteaga,
Present.
Senator Boyd,
Present.
Senator Haynes,
Present.
Senator Mungaravani,
Present.
Senator Marston,
Present.
Senator Hatch,
Present.
Senator Lewis,
Present.
Senator Farwell.
Present.
I have a total of 27 present, simple majority of 13.5, and 2/3 majority of 18.
Thank you. We'll now go into Section 4, messages from the student body president. The clerk may read.
Upon recommendation by the Senate and by my authority, the following have been signed and filed as law. SB-68-121, an act to authorize funding for Phase 1 of the CAC Theater renovation. SB-68-122, appointing Senator Otten to serve as pro temp of the Government Oversight Committee. These orders shall be filed with the Association's office, added to the record, and it shall become effective upon filing and remain in force until rescinded by the President of the Association or following other procedures. These orders shall become executive law and special order to remain beyond the session.
Thank you. We'll now move into Section 5, messages from the Finance Commission.
The Commission has reviewed a series of individual and organizational funding requests submitted by students and student organizations. Allocations were determined in accordance with SGA funding policies and eligibility requirements. This past week, the Commission reviewed a series of individual funding requests submitted by students. After careful consideration and in accordance with SGA funding policies and eligibility requirements, the Commission approved 3 applications. Funding totaling $1,658 was approved for two students attending the CES conference, each receiving $829, and $885 was approved for a student attending the Bicade conference. The CES allocations will be drawn from the spring individual funding budget since the conference will take place in January. No organizational funding requests were reviewed this past week. The Commission remains committed to supporting student development through conference participation and professional growth opportunities, and will continue providing weekly updates on budget expenditures from both the individual and organizational funding accounts. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for Vice President Nguyen? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to Section 6, recognition of the Senator of the Month. Good evening, everyone. I hope your week has been going well so far. The Senator of the Month initiative is an initiative that we as Senate leadership collectively decided to implement to recognize senators while they're still here in the association and giving them their flowers in recognition for the work that they've done on legislation, on reaching out to students, and also working with other committees members as well. So the criteria that we had for Senator of the Month is based off of the legislation that they worked on or was able to write, their ability to conduct outreach and reach out to different senators, but also different students and departments across campus as well, in addition to participation in different student government events across campus. Additionally, we also based it off of our interactions in our one-on-ones that we had between me as the Speaker of the Student Senate, in addition to the chairpersons as well. So the first Senator of the Month for the month of October has written legislation regarding the TRIO programs. And with this AR-68-002, Association to Encourage the University to Stand with the TRIO programs, Senator Brandon Miller has reached out to several of the TRIO directors, has done extensive research on the legislation for that initiative, in addition to work with several other senators, including Chairperson Hansen, Senator Brown, Senator Hatch, Senator Owens, and many other senators as well regarding this legislation. Additionally, within our one-on-one discussions, I think in meeting with Chairperson Hansen and me as well, it's been a highlight in being able to talk about that legislation in the outreach initiatives that we were working on for this association resolution, in addition to some more initiatives that are planned for the rest of this year as well. So with this Senator of the Month award, we will give you a certificate right after I finish offering this. In addition, you will get a gift card. Senator Miller will get a gift card to go to for dining services across campus as well. Additionally, after the Senate meeting, I asked that Senator Miller stay behind to take a photo for our social media posts for this as well. But I want to give a congratulations to Liberal Arts and Sciences Senator Brandon Miller for being our first Senator of the Month. And if Senator Miller can come up to accept his certificate, we will do that also. We will now go into Section 7, 3-minute floor speeches. In lieu of senators using public forum as a mechanism to address the Senate, any senator may seek recognition to give a speech on a subject of their choice, not exceeding 3 minutes in duration. 3-minute speeches are focused on specific topics. Senators may only hold the floor once during this period. Are there any senators who wish to speak during this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into Section 8, Public Forum. Public forum provides a chance for individuals to have the privilege of speaking before the Senate, limited to 3 minutes only. This is a time for the Senate to listen to what the community has to say, and to that we offer our undivided respect and attention. I would like to remind everyone that, although we allow the speakers the privilege to use this platform, the opinions of the speakers do not reflect the opinions of the association. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in public forum at this time? We will now go to Isaiah Thompson.
Good evening, Senators. I know I don't talk a lot. Instead, when I call your names, it's all whenever I talk, but I'm standing here as the treasurer of ASME and not the Speaker of the Senate. Tomorrow, we're gonna have our Halloween bingo fundraiser, and you'll see Speaker Fan and I wear our silly costumes and play bingo with all of the engineering students and as well as the community. It's a $5 entrance fee. You get 2 bingo cards, and if you show up in a costume, I will give you 1 free myself. So if you have time tomorrow, it's going to be in the RSC 262, 6 p.m. to 7 to 7:30, depending on how long we go. Thank you. Oh, I'll stand for questions.
Are there any questions for our speaker? Senator Austin?
Can we get a hint of what your costumes will be?
I'm not sure what Speaker Fan has planned, but I will be wearing something from Monsters, Inc.
Are there any more questions for our speaker? Okay, seeing none, thank you. Are there any other individuals who wish to speak in public forum at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll now go into Section 9, Introductions and Reports, and we'll go to 9.1, Report from the Executive Branch.
Okay, to start off the report, I'll have Student Body President Wayne come up to begin hers.
Good evening, everyone.
Tonight, I will be presenting a resolution celebrating the Sunflower on their national awards that they won during a conference in Washington, D.C. I've also been talking to some administrators as well as our advisor, Dr. Gabriel Fonseca, and student body treasurer, Luke Bum, just to prepare for student fees and kind of seeing how those conversations start. I know it might seem like it's a little bit early to start those conversations, but the more prepared we are, the better the conversations can be once we hit March. And then I also wanted to announce that last week I asked the staff over in the Shocker Support Locker to go ahead and to stock up more items for the month of November. As you may or may not know, due to the federal government shutdown, SNAP benefits will be paused starting November 1st. So I wanted to ensure that students who may have been on SNAP benefits, who need those benefits, are being well taken care of. So if you know of anyone or if you hear of anything, please let them know that the Chakra Support Locker is always a resource for them, and we are prepared just in case if there are a larger volume of students that come to the locker because of these pauses, but we are well prepared to make sure that these students are being taken care of. So please just spread the message around if you can, to make sure that those students know that we are here to support them. But that's it. Thank you.
Okay, to continue with the executive branch report, Vice President Nguyen recently attended a Swipe Out Hunger meeting and is researching the Hunger-Free Campus Bill. Her interviews for the Graduate Student Advocate and Director of the Transfer Student Experiences have been completed, and the final Finance Commissioner interview will take place on Friday. Treasurer Bum's report was given kind of through the messages from the Finance Commission. I've just been conducting one-on-one meetings with the members of Cabinet and then assisting with the Senate report. Director Arons has finished the community garden legislation, which is on the agenda for the Senate tonight. Director Jean continues to manage SJ graphics and media materials while working on the Student Government Association website. Director Garcia is just planning for next semester's events. He just had his cider and connections. Director Raju is preparing for her Health and Wellness Week, which I shared last week. Dr. Khan announced that he is having an RSO event planning training, which will take place on November 17th. Director Safdar is finalizing everything for Intervest with 8 international RSOs participating. He recently met with the Shocker Career Accelerator to collaborate on an international alumni panel and a soft skills workshop. He is also planning a leadership training for international RSOs in partnership with the Kansas Leadership Center. Director Murphy confirmed that the food for the November 4th tailgate has been arranged, with dining services tracking meal plan usage and then invoicing accordingly. He's also working with athletics to ensure students can easily receive tickets at the event, because they're now switching to where you can get tickets on your phone, just all digitally. Director Olay Taylor invites everyone to volunteer at the Community Garden Showcase on November 6th and attend the Teaching Kitchen in the Suites on November 5th at 6 p.m. Director Guthrie is planning for his event with his speakers. He's finalizing all of the list of the speakers and confirming their participation. And then after I give this report, Undergraduate Student Advocate Island will be giving their own report. And I'll stand for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chief of Staff Fritz? Senator Farwell?
I have a question about letting the Shocker Support, the Kia Duggan Shocker Support Locker know about the increased amount of people that might come. Was any funding allocated to that, or was it just a formal notification?
The funding will come out of their foundation account.
Are there any more questions for Chief of Staff Fritz? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from the Undergraduate Student Advocate.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we just wanted to take an opportunity to ensure that all of our senators are a little bit more informed about what specifically the Office of the Advocates are designed to do, and what some of the tasks that we've been taking on as of recently. So just kind of talking about what our recent caseload has been like and some of the initiatives that we're working on throughout the year. So to begin, the Office of the Advocates is specifically designed to have positions for both an undergraduate and a graduate student who have been specially trained to be available to assist students with issues that have yet to be resolved by other offices on campus. So a lot of the times we receive either email submissions or reports through our Maxient caseload system, wherein students have either had problems, working back and forth, having miscommunications with whether that be parking services, this could be dining issues, it could be academic appeals, all sorts of things. But really we want to have a student-on-student perspective, because a lot of the times when students are forced to speak with staff or other faculty members, there can be perhaps some guilt or shame associated with some of those conversations. So having just a student on the other side of those conversations can really alleviate a lot of stressors for our students. And so what we want to do is just show our commitment to helping students at the very core of student government, and showing that throughout every process of the student stage, we see that students are able to, apply for funds through individual funding. Yes, we're able to support them at that high stage of their college career when they're able to go to conferences, but we also want to still continue to be there for students who may be struggling a little bit throughout their college journey. In terms of the types of cases processed, the three that you see on the screen behind me are three of the sorts of cases that we see in the highest volume. So the number one sort of case that I've seen, at least throughout this year, is parking and traffic appeals. We know as students that there are a lot of concerns that we see with parking across campus, whether that be a low availability of student lots that are close to the buildings that students are most commonly using, or this can be, a lack of clear communication regarding parking regulations that students are expected to adhere to. Traffic appeals, we know, especially in those high times when students are getting out of their on-campus jobs and when faculty are leaving around 5 p.m., we see that there's a higher influx of traffic incidents around campus, and that's when we see some of the parking, sorts of citations be issued around that time. And so as the Advocates Office, we want to be able to help people, if they genuinely feel as if they've made a mistake, just helping give them the specific resources and instructions on how to appeal those citations or how they can go to pay them, and provide alternate options like our Food for Fines program, where students are able to bring in non-perishable food items or hygiene items to help support the Kia Duggins Chakra Support Logger as well, and be able to clear that citation from their student account balance. Secondarily, we have our academic grade appeals. We've had a lot of these. These are a bit more of a lengthy process. So typically students will come having, whether that be a grade that they feel was unfairly given to them, or going through, grieving processes, and they don't want that specific low mark to be on their transcript. So we'll work with the student to kind of compile a strong case, present an opening statement and evidence to the Court of Academic Appeals to be able to help them not feel as if they have this stain on their academic career, and walk them through the process. So as the advocate, I'm able to go with students to these hearings, being able to advocate on their behalf, of course, at these hearings, but also helping them in the compilation process of getting all of their evidence and documentation together, reviewing some of the comments from teachers and department chairs, and kind of helping guide them through that process. Lastly, kind of related to that, is academic integrity cases. So students may have been, unfairly believe that they got an academic integrity strike, just helping them appeal those sorts of cases as well. A little bit less seen, but some additional sorts of cases that we see are related to sexual misconduct, discrimination, and harassment, whether that be in their on-campus jobs or in interacting with peers within the classroom or within, registered student organization meetings, kind of like we talked about the Food for Fines program, and appeals to the Supreme Court that usually take place if students have received a negative outcome from their appeals, whether that be to the academic appeals court or to the parking appeals court. I won't go through, this is a little bit more detailed, surely, than we all have time for tonight. But this kind of talks about how students are able to submit reports. So essentially, we have an online system where students are able to go in and submit a case through our system. So there's a long form that they can go in to give kind of a little bit more depth about where were they when the location took place, if there are any relevant parties that we may need to contact, just that on the behalf of the advocates, we have all the information we need so that we can kind of hit the ground running and go out to contact other offices to help the student as fast as we can. In that same lieu of submitting a report, the QR code behind me will take you directly to their reported system. If you want to take a picture of that to save it in case you may need to reference it for students later on. But a quick URL to remember is wichita.edu/reportit. And once you go to that website, all the options behind me will be available. But once you click right on that red link specifically to the student advocate, it'll have them just kind of sign in with their WSU ID and then allow them to submit a form that comes right to my email. And we're able to respond within a quick manner. One thing that I've really been trying to, highlight throughout this administration and in my role as the undergraduate student advocate is allowing students to know that they have a wide variety of choices. And so for students, a lot of the times, whether that be a bad grade or a parking ticket, a lot of the times they may feel limited in what they're able to do to resolve those concerns because some of the other offices on campus may not always tell them what the true depth of their options are. For example, specifically as it pertains to students that have financial concerns, maybe they might talk to the financial aid office and they'll only send them to our Scholarship Universe website, wherein on our end, we know that there's a lot more financial resources that are definitely untapped, not only on campus, but within the wider Wichita community area. And we just want to let students know that their choices matter and that we're here to help them navigate those choices effectively. In terms of my current caseload, I have 8 active cases, 2 of those which are parking appeals cases, 3 of those related to academic appeals, and 1 harassment, 1 financial, and 1 academic probation concern. Another initiative that we've been working through, or at least that I've been spearheading throughout this administration, is last session we had an executive order that enacted the Accessibility and Disability Pride Task Force with not only student representatives, but faculty representatives as well. And one of our main objectives here is to ensure that each and every student has an exceptional college experience and that their ability status doesn't get in the way of them being able to interact positively with university administrators and facilities. So our main mission is to kind of champion for the rights of students. We'd like to, if you're out speaking with constituents and they bring up specific accessibility concerns, these meetings are a great space to be able to share those with us directly so that we can create actionable steps and create plans to go out, whether that be submitting a report to our ADA compliance folks or getting that information to the relevant offices on campus so that we can kind of alleviate some of those concerns. And with that, right now we're kind of looking towards ways that we can involve more of the student community. I know that currently it's more of an internal affair, but we really want to look towards efforts of involving each and every student here on campus so that their concerns can feel heard. And tomorrow we will be having our October meeting of the Accessibility and Disability Pride Task Force from 3 to 4 p.m. in RSC room 238. So even if you haven't RSVP'd, we would love to have you come. Even if you don't have any specific concerns or things to share, just coming and hearing the perspectives of other students, especially in your roles, can always be super helpful. Lastly, just kind of going over what this role has taught me specifically is just in general, having communication with students is so important to me, and one of the reasons why I wanted to step into this role in the first place. Having direct contact with students and being able to alleviate those concerns in ways that other offices haven't, and really being able to rely and communicate effectively with other offices on campus. Sometimes they can be a little taken aback having a student call them and having such a strong voice on behalf of other students. So just making sure that giving students those solutions that are provided to me from other offices represent different perspectives and really get the student to where they want to be in the long term is certainly important to me. these are some of the ways that you can contact the advocates. Right now, we're still in the process of looking towards finding a graduate advocate. So right now, I'm taking most of those concerns, but the phone number behind me will direct you to my voicemail inbox, or you can always email me at sga.ugadvocate@wichita.edu if you have any concerns or would like to set up a time to just kind of chat about the advocacy position. And then you can always feel free to send me an appointment request via Outlook calendar. And I now stand open for questions.
Are there any questions for Advocate Island? Senator Parker.
Would you mind talking more about what the meeting for tomorrow is going to be about?
So tomorrow we'll be specifically discussing accessibility in higher education. So looking at what specifically Wichita State University has done to kind of spearhead some accessibility initiatives, seeing what policies they already have in place and what gaps specifically exist wherein we can make legislative changes, whether that be through the legislative body of the Student Senate here, or whether that be through smaller conversations with university administrators and ADA coordinators to kind of fill in some of those gaps.
Are there any more questions for Advocate Island? Senator Austin.
This might be a speaker fund question too, but is there any way that we could have access to these slides so then we could refer back to them later?
That is an excellent question. So if you go to the Legislative Branch Teams, under Senate Resources, under the October 29th meeting, I uploaded the PDF of the presentation there. Are there any more questions for Advocate Island? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go into section. We will now go into 9.3, report from the Speaker of the Student Senate. So good evening, everyone. I hope your day and week is going well. For my report, pretty brief report for today. For some updates for required events, I sent out a memo a few days ago with required events that I am mandating that senators attend. So in the case that you cannot go to the remaining event, which is the SGA tailgate, please fill out an excuse form if you know you cannot make it to that event. If you have class, if you have work, if you have other commitments, that's okay. Just fill out the excuse form. I'll reach out to you or approve or deny your excuse form, and then we'll go from there. If you had those other obligations, I will typically excuse them for that event. But for more information, you can refer back to the memo that I sent out for that event as well. Additionally, I am finalizing the process of scheduling one-on-one meetings with all senators. So every senator at this point should have received an email from me reaching out to you to schedule a one-on-one. So if you have not responded to any emails or you didn't receive an email, please let me know or respond to the email that I sent out. But with the one-on-ones being scheduled, most of the new one-on-ones should occur within the next 2 weeks. Additionally, if you ever have a time conflict or something came up, you can always reschedule the meetings. I ask that you all senators, if you know you're not going to go to the one-on-one or you're going to have to reschedule it, please let your chairperson or me know for all of our one-on-ones. For chairpersons, please let them know you're canceling the one-on-ones or need to reschedule for chairpersons. And same thing for me, let me know if you're rescheduling or canceling for me as well. The most important part of that is the communication aspect. I want to respect your time as much as I want you to respect our time as well. So if you do not go to a one-on-one meeting and you don't communicate with us at all, that will count as an unexcused absence. But if you do communicate with us and you have to reschedule it, I am not counting it towards the total absence total for excused absences. Additionally, another thing that we're working on as Senate leadership is finalizing legislation related to the pro temp responsibilities, in addition to instituting language for Senate resolutions within our SJ bylaws as well. Additionally, for Senate membership, this week I accepted the resignations for 2 senators. I accepted the resignation for the Applied Studies Senator, Tiffany Sowa, and then today I accepted the resignation for Liberal Arts and Sciences Senator, Victoria Owens. So those resignations have taken effect. I have accepted those resignations as well. Additionally, for tonight's agenda, we have two first reads of two pieces of legislation. We will have the first read for the bylaw amendments to the WCU Community Gardens that Director Arns and I wrote. In addition, we also have an association resolution recognizing the Sunflower for their achievements as well. For the Sunflower resolution, I did deem it timely. So for that legislation, it will be its first and final read. So when you ask questions, when the author goes up to speak, be sure to ask all the questions that you may have related to that piece of legislation as well. Additionally, for this week, I will be out of office for a good chunk of tomorrow and Friday, so I'll send that out in a follow-up email as well. I am currently serving on the College of Engineering Dean Search Committee, so I'll be out for the next few days. If you need to set up a one-on-one with me or set up a meeting with me, I will be free most of Friday afternoon until 6 p.m. if you need to just talk to me regarding concerns or you have questions or you'd like to set up a one-on-one as well. Additionally, I'm still in the process of responding to emails from the past 3 days, so you should hear back from me by the end of this week on Saturday at the very latest. But that's my report for this week. Are there any questions for me that I can answer? Okay, seeing no questions, we'll now go into section 9.4, report from the Senate chairpersons, and we'll go to report from Academic Affairs Chairperson Kusir Safar.
Good evening, everyone. So this week, the Academic Affairs Committee is planning to share the student survey about the plus or minus grading system. The goal is to get feedbacks from students before our committee continues discussion on it. From Monday's Faculty Senate meeting, there were a few main updates. The Faculty Affairs and Executive Committees are finishing a survey about the faculty workload policy, which should go out in the next couple of weeks. The new Student Affairs Committee also started working, and one of their first big project is coming up regarding the academic integrity policy. There was also a lot of discussion about the library. Some faculty shared concerns about the new policies and overdue fines. The Senate also discussed plans for leadership training to help departments chair and faculty improve their roles. They also talked about forming a group to look at how AI is being used on campus and how it might be better managed in the future. Also, the next Faculty Senate meeting will be held in 2 weeks. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Kusir so far? Seeing none, we'll go to Senator Boyd.
When you talk about AI, is it like generative AI that people use like Grammarly or like Apple Intelligence to help write their assignments?
Yeah, they had to leave the meeting pretty soon because I had a class, so I had to be in the meeting for 15 minutes. But they said they're going to talk about it in 2 weeks.
Are there any further questions for Chairperson Kusir so far? We'll go to Senator Lewis.
Is the discussion about managing AI also going to, or is it going to discuss managing how professors use AI? Because I've heard extensive complaints about professors encouraging their students to use AI.
Yeah, they are going to look at all the aspects, as the one that you mentioned. They're also going to take a look at that. But as far as right now, I don't have a lot of reports based on that because they're just gonna research on that first and then let us know in 2 weeks.
Are there any further questions for Chairperson Kusir so far? Okay, seeing none, thank you. We'll now go to the report from the Diversity Empowerment. We'll go to the report from Government Oversight Chairperson Tawana.
Good evening, everyone. I'll keep it short. I finalized setting my one-on-ones with all the 3 new senators in my committee. I'll be meeting with them over the next week. My monthly one-on-one with Shocker Board President got rescheduled because something came up on their side, so I'll be meeting with them on Tuesday. Other than that, as a committee, we are still working on the legislation for reviewing RSO fundings through the RSO handbook, and also reviewing what to do with the tier 2, tier 3 organizations, how to knock them down to tier 3, from tier 3 to tier 2 if they don't end up using their full conference budget. So we're still in the process of working on that. Other than that, we have an initial draft for the pro tem position for the bylaws. So we'll be finalizing by next week's committee oversight, and you guys will have legislation in the Senate for first read in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, that's what we're working on. I'll stand for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Tawana? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now go to the report from Student Services Chairperson Hansen.
My report is pretty short tonight. Speaker Fawn and I met with Emily Martins yesterday to discuss concerns and updates regarding parking services bylaws and policies. And I've continued meeting with my committee members on a monthly basis. In committee, we're preparing for questions for a presentation next week from Jamie Krasinger, the Dining Services Director. Additionally, we're gathering information and questions for a parking services infographic and helping brainstorm updated questions for the citation appeals parking quiz. That's all.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Hansen? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now go to the report from the central office.
Hello, everyone. We do not have a report tonight.
Thank you. We'll now go to section 10, the consent agenda. I just realized I forgot to upload the meeting minutes into the Teams, so that will be up for approval next week. We'll now go to section 11, pending business. There is none. We'll now go to section 12, new business. And before we move into 12.1, I will hand the chair off to Vice President Wynn.
The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-116, an act to institute bylaws for the Wichita State Community Garden.
Is the author here and wish to speak? You have the floor.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So for the legislation that I'm presenting today is an act to institute bylaws for the Wichita State Community Gardens. So this legislation would add bylaws regarding our Wichita State Community Gardens, which, to give some context, last session, our community gardens were originally located right outside of Albert Hall, and last year in last administration, we worked with Facility Services to move the garden from its location from Albert Hall to the east side of the Rackham Student Center in the 67th session. Additionally, we formed the Sustainability Committee last session to help also support the community gardens as one of its minor roles that the sustainability does as well. And right now, with the community gardens, we don't have any formal bylaws or language describing the Wichita State Community Gardens, and now that the Student Government Association is helping maintain the gardens and has student assistants, hire student assistants to help maintain the gardens, I think it's the right time to institute bylaws for Wichita State Community Garden. So within the legislation, it added the purpose of the Wichita State Community Garden. In addition, it describes how funding would be derived. So funding for the community garden, at least from the staff student assistant perspective, will be from the Supervising President's budget. And then the central office would also oversee volunteer coordination, student assistant management, maintenance or partnerships to help maintain the gardens as well. In addition, it lists the duties and responsibilities of student assistants. So you might be asking, where do all these responsibilities come from? These responsibilities for student assistants come from the official job description that the Student Engagement and Belonging Office and Student Government Association has for the student assistant position for the community garden right now. So we do currently have student assistants helping maintain the gardens. Additionally, it also states that the student assistants will report to the student governance coordinator and the chair of the sustainability committee or designee as set by the student body president. With the community garden, I believe that it's important that we have bylaws being able to describe the responsibilities associated with the community garden, in addition to what its formal purpose is. If you go to the Wichita State website, it has a description of the community garden where we pulled some of the language from, but the website hasn't been updated in a little bit while as well. So with this legislation, we'll update all of our bylaws, update all of our mechanisms related to the Wichita State Community Garden. And we've been working on this, Director Arns and I have been working on the legislation for a little bit over a month now, and we had some of these conversations with the Director Taylor as well, in addition to other members of the executive branch. I will stand for any questions you all may have for this.
Are there any questions? Senator Hatch?
Yeah, are there like a set number of community garden assistants that you were looking at doing, or just is that just going to be like a as needed kind of hiring situation?
I do not know the answer off the top of my head, but I will defer it to either Advisor Madison, President Wong for the number of student assistants.
What was the question?
Did you have a set number of community garden assistants that you wanted to hire, keep, or is that just going to be like a as needed kind of thing as the garden expands or shrinks?
Currently, we have 2. I can't speak to what we may need in the future. Over the summer, as we were kind of looking at the garden and things like that, and looking at the budget, we decided that 2 was kind of the maximum that our budget could handle right now. If the garden does plan to grow, I would imagine that we would need more gardeners, but again, I can't really speak definitively for the future.
Advisor Madison, did you have anything? No? Okay. Are there any other questions? Senator Mallard?
Would you be up to the idea of adding any lines about like the shocker support locker and or even the green group, because the green group has done a lot of the maintenance as well as a lot of the food goes to the support locker, so ensuring that there is a line saying if food is harvested, the support locker will we'll get some of it or something along those lines?
I would be open to potentially considering amendments regarding talking about sending produce to the shocker support locker. I know they already do that if they have leftover produce. They would send it over as well. And under Director Taylor's responsibilities right now, that's intersecting between the shocker support locker and the community garden, as Director Taylor oversees communication coordination over both of those areas as well. For Green Group, I did not include the Green Group on there at the moment because I know throughout different sessions, I think Green Group has different levels of involvement in maintaining the community garden, and I think currently I can't speak on what that collaboration and working with Green Group looks like for this session, but I know in previous sessions we struggled to help maintain the garden, or there's not as many members within the Green Group able to help. So with this, I'm open to adding the Green Group on there, but I primarily, in this legislation, I think one of my focuses was having SGA be responsible for a large portion of it. That way, in future sessions, we have someone available year to year as we go along. I know that's kind of long-winded, but I hope, does that make sense?
Are there any other questions? Can you raise your plaque for me? Your plaque, sorry. Senator Parker.
Yeah, so it mentions here that the funding will be derived for the president's budget, and that is including the assistance pay. Is that true?
That's correct. So when it says funding is derived from the president's budget, that includes student assistance for the community garden.
Advisor Nolan.
Yes, I just want to clarify, Green Group is not currently active, so if they do become active again, then we can include them, but as far as right now, they are not an active recognized student organization.
Are there any other questions? Senator Farwell.
This might be a dense question. I'm not seeing anything about rules and regulations. Was that already in the original legislation, or is that something that we need to add?
So I think from interpreting your question, when I state the rules and regulations within the legislation, I'm referring to our SJ bylaws overall. So this legislation would add this language about the community gardens into our bylaws for our rules and regulations of our association. I don't know if that was entirely your question, but.
Senator Farwell.
Let me clarify. I mean, rules and regulations regarding the community garden and conduct in around the community garden.
I didn't add any language regarding like conduct around the community garden because I think around a lot of the areas they have different things posted on what you can and cannot do around the community gardens as well. And I didn't also want it to become as restrictive as well because if we put items in our bylaws about specific conduct, if we don't include a lot of different things, it could also hinder our ability to regulate the conduct around the community gardens, if that makes sense, because then we would have to legislate bylaw changes every time we decide to make changes to that. So I wanted to leave that at the discretion of the staff overseeing the community gardens as well.
Are there any other questions? Senator Mallard.
So you said the stuff already set up around the community garden. Do you know what if there are any currently, like any regulations in regards to the garden that we have to follow that you were kind of hinting at?
I can't speak to the specific like regulations that they have in place. Advisor Madison, do you know if they have like specific things posted or things on their website related to conduct around the gardens?
Is your question about like, okay, go ahead. What is your question about how people act or what they can pick and what they can't pick?
Senator Mallard.
So like with the Green Group, there was stuff where like obviously you can't plant illegal substances, or you also can't section off certain areas and say this is only for you and only I'm allowed to grow this. I think that's kind of what one of the questions was. Do we have stuff there at the garden right now on a sign as well as in our bylaws?
Okay, yeah. So as of now, there's no signage about those types of rules. But our student assistant who works in the garden manages like where things are planted. So if he sees something planted out of place, he usually makes sure that it's planted where it should be in the best way that's conducive for it to grow and to produce produce. So there's no written signage out there, but there is like protocol in place for how he manages that space.
And to add on to that, with bylaws related to conduct at the community garden, we don't have any language regarding that as well because we don't have any language regarding the community garden to begin with.
Senator Mallard.
So we do have one line that says studies and work with the Wichita Green Group to ensure success in maintaining the Wichita State Community Garden. Will that be changed then? Because it's an active group.
It could be changed for future edits. I believe that was for the Sustainability Committee. If they are no longer an active RSO, it wouldn't really matter as much regardless. Since they're not active, we don't have someone to work with in the first place from the SGA standpoint. So it could be a change that we make for future edits in regards to language for the Sustainability Committee in that line. But right now, the main focus for this legislation is related to just adding more language for the entire community garden area as a whole.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, this piece of legislation is now referred back to the Government Oversight Committee. I will now hand this back over to Speaker Fawn.
Okay, we will now move into 12.2. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-003, an act to celebrate the sunflower for its national awards.
Is the author here ready to speak? You have the floor.
Good evening again, Senators. I hope you are all staying warm outside as the weather turns cold. Tonight, I am proud to present you all this resolution celebrating the sunflower for their achievements during the 2024 to 2025 academic year. For those who may not know what the Sunflower is an independent student-run publication at Wichita State University, founded in 1896, and serves as the primary news source for the university and the surrounding community. The Sunflower recently took a trip to Washington, D.C. for Media Fest 25, the annual national conference of the Associated Collegiate Press, the College Media Association, and the Society of Professional Journalists. The Sunflower received 3 national awards: the Newspaper Pacemaker, the Multi-Platform Pacemaker, and the Innovation Pacemaker. The Sunflower is one of only 2 college papers to win a newspaper pacemaker in each of the last 5 years, and one of the 11 college papers to win the multi-platform pacemaker. These achievements go far beyond what someone may expect from an independent student-run journalist organization. Their high standards, passion, and dedication to the Shocker community has redefined what kind of impact student journalism can have on a campus. Please join me in celebrating the Sunflower for such achievements. Thank you, and I will stand for any questions.
Are there any questions for President Wong? Senator Hatch.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why this legislation would fail, and I also don't see any reason to wait 2 weeks to kind of give them their flowers. So would you be in favor of suspension of the rules and voting on this legislation tonight?
So I'm going to step in. So to clarify, since I deem the legislation timely, it doesn't have to go through committee read. So this will be its first and final read. Are there any other questions for President Wong? Senator Lee.
Motion for unanimous approval.
Right now we're in the question period, but you can do that when we go into the debate period. Are there any other questions for President Wong? Okay, seeing none, thank you. We will now go into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time? Senator Lee.
I wish to make a motion to have this passed by unanimous approval.
Are there any objections to approving this legislation by unanimous consent? Seeing no objections, it is adopted as such. With that, we will now move into Section 13, adjournment. The Student Government Association Student Senate will stand in adjournment until Wednesday, November 5th at 7:30 p.m. I adjourn this meeting at 8:23 p.m.